All right, so today I'm with the multi-talented TikTok star Kevin James Thornton. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Of course, thank you for being here. So, Kevin, you experienced a rapid rise of fame through your viral TikTok videos where you make light of real life challenges you faced growing up gay in a religious community. So, what made you decide to share these stories on social media?
Honestly, it was just like early pandemic boredom. Like everyone was sending me TikTok videos, in that era, that first month where we all were in our houses like what is happening?
Mhm.
And so I was watching other people's videos and I was like I could do this. So I just made a couple just for fun, really, and they just blew up like really fast. It happened really fast.
So, you never intended on creating videos in the first place.
No, I would like there was nothing in my mind that was like, "Oh, this is going to be a thing." I
Mhm.
was just it was literally just I'm sitting here with nothing else to do. I'm going to tell silly stories on TikTok.
Nice, nice. And why do you auto tune? To me, that makes these stories 10 times funnier.
I know that was just a weird random thing too. Um I had found that filter on an app and I was like, "Oh, cuz some of the stories are a little dark, honestly. They're about like early church trauma stuff. So I don't know. I was like, oh, maybe it would be funny if I like sang this story with this filter on my voice.
Mhm.
And it was literally no more thought about it than that. And that just became, I guess this is what I do now because,
In your signature, yeah.
yeah.
So telling these stories, was that also kind of a therapeutic process for you? Was it kind of cathartic?
Yeah. They were honestly, I mean, most of those stories were from bits that I had done in other shows. I had written a couple like one man plays that those stories were in.
Okay.
So I sort of had them in my back pocket.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, those story. I was like 19, 20 years old, and I'm 50 now. So
Okay.
those are like, 30-year-old stories.
Mhm.
What is maybe cathartic is how many people relate to them. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking like, oh my God, there's so many people out there who like experienced this same thing even 10 years ago. So, you
Exactly.
know,
Hmm.
that's been super cool.
Do you know which stories have kind of received the most views over time?
Yeah, there's probably the biggest one was the one where I'm talking about I was trying to speak in tongues in my church, and the video is called Shamala Hamala, and that's become one of my catchphrases, I guess. People tell me that everyone in their house greets each other with Shamala Hamala. Shamala Hamala is in the Urban Dictionary now.
I think some of my favorite videos were the ones from when you're like, it was the 90s and that on
Yeah,
voice. And like, even with my husband, I sometimes hear him be like, it was the 90s. And that like stuck in my head all the time. And so this was like some of my favorites, like when you were like roller skating with the parachute
oh
pants.
yeah, yeah,
You like your grandpa was with you at a toy store to get the Barbie doll or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, those are some of my absolute favorites. And yeah, like you said, it really does resonate with a lot of people, even to this day. And also, a lot of people turned to TikTok during the pandemic, like you said, looking for some kind of escapism. So,
Yeah.
how did it feel to know that you were giving some kind of comedic relief to others during such a dark period?
Those early days were wild.
Mhm.
My account was growing so fast, and I remember back in those days, like almost everything I would post, I would like post it and then like just watch it, and like 5 minutes later, it would have a million views.
Mhm.
It was like, well, how did that happen? Um, and lots of people told me I was when they downloaded TikTok, I was the very first video that TikTok showed them. It was a wild era.
Yeah,
I still don't quite understand what happened, but it happened.
everything happens for a reason, and it just happened to you.
Yeah.
So, you're currently touring with a brand new comedy show. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've been on tour. This is my third straight year
Okay.
of touring comedy clubs. It's been a dream come true. I like I said, I'm 50. I have done stand up for over 15 years, but
Okay.
I had just gotten to a point where I thought, well, the big break is never coming and that's fine, and sort of let go that anything was really going to come of it. So the last 3 years have been this like wild dream come true. I didn't see coming. I'm having the time of my life. It's been amazing.
Awesome. And last year, you released a TV special called Be Yourself. What was that experience like?
That was another part of the wild dream. This company in Los Angeles just called my agent and asked if I was interested in recording a special, and it came together really fast. And I flew out there and did it in a, it was a beautiful theater in LA, and now it's on Amazon Prime.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
So you've always had a passion for entertainment, right?
Yeah, I've been doing stuff, film and comedy and plays and stuff for literally my whole life. Yeah.
But you originally wanted to perform in a band, right?
My early days after college were spent trying to get a record deal in Nashville, touring around with a rock band. I did that for about 10 years.
Okay, okay. So it seems like you kind of found your niche with this whole comedy thing now.
Yeah, that was actually sort of a weird turn because like after the band broke up, that was like 10 years of work and we did some cool things, but it just never quite came to fruition. And then when that was over, I was like, I don't think I can do that again. I need to do something totally different.
Mm.
So I moved to Los Angeles with a boyfriend I did not know very well. So
That's what it does.
moving to LA with your new boyfriend is not a good idea. Um, and I took a stand-up comedy class, just kind of like dove into that scene.
Awesome.
It
Very
was yeah, it was just like a weird curveball, but I'm glad it happened.
yeah, definitely, because now you're having the time of your life.
Yep.
And the last time we connected was in 2020, right before the pandemic even started. So before you gained this viral fame, you were working on a show on Deku called Stranger Hearts. What happened with that?
That's just like one of those weird moments that the pandemic changed forever. Like we put a lot of work into that show. I'm really proud of it. It turned out really beautifully, I think. But it was a really large ensemble cast, and I remember here in Nashville we had a premiere showing at a theater here in Nashville, and it was on, I believe it was March 25th, 2020. Like literally a few days before lockdown.
Yeah.
And I remember we all showed up kind of tentatively and we're like, should we be doing this? And
Yeah.
we're like, yeah, it's probably fine. And then like 4 days later, it was total lockdown.
And shut
I
down.
made a joke at that showing that it's like, welcome to the last public event you'll go to. And it was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So do you have any film projects currently in the works or anything else you would like to do with film?
Yeah, I do. I have long-term goals. I mean, the last 3 years have been like so busy just with comedy clubs,
Mhm.
and I just signed with a literary agent, so I'm writing a book now.
Nice.
But I still have a real passion for film and photography, and I have my full portrait film set up. And long term, I would love to do like an artistic photo book
Mm.
or maybe work on some more short films, but that's going to have to wait on the back burner for a while because I've been on the road nonstop for 3 years.
Nonstop. Yeah, yeah. Well, what can you tell us about the upcoming book?
It's autobiographical. It's I mean I've only written the writing sample so far. I've written 50 pages so far, and I've got to write like 300 more. So, but it's autobiographical. It's a lot of my early teenage years, coming out of the closet in that religious community. A lot of it is about that, but it's also about who I am today and the things I'm going through as a 50-year-old man. So it's autobiographical, but with a little extra.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Kevin, how can one stay up to date with you the best?
All my stuff is on my website, kevinjamesthornton.com. I've got a ton of tour dates coming up this year, including some in Canada. A lot of those tickets are already on sale. All of my podcast, everything is all on my website, kevinjamesthornton.com.
Perfect. Then before we wrap up, are there any other upcoming projects or anything else you would like to mention or plug at this time?
What else is coming up? No, I think just my comedy show is the main thing. After this round of shows is over, I'm going to take a long break to write and recoup and come back and do it all again next year.
Sounds good. Perfect.